¿Dónde está?
Let's go.
All right, Danny, I'm going to get started. Are we rolling, guys? Hey, welcome. Welcome, first off. And second off, how often do we get together on a Wednesday? We get together on a Wednesday when it's fight week, right? When there's something big going on. There's some big card coming up, and it generally is capped off by a world championship. In this case, it's going to be 3. I got some of the best fighters in the world. I got the best promoter in the world. But as I'm looking out, I see we've got the best attendees and the media in the crowd. Hello back there, Pri and Thero. I see you guys waving to me. I just want to welcome you all. I got to tell you a real quick story, guys, because this is a true story. I am a wrestling fan. I go back with Yoel Romero, and I never met him. I was just a fan. I go back to the time he was 19 years old. He was on the national team representing Cuba at 85 kilograms. You guys might remember great wrestlers from America, Les Gutches, Cale Sanderson. These were some of the guys of that era. These were the guys that Yoel had to take on. And Yoel wasn't scared of anybody. He gets over into MMA. He starts at 36 years old, where people laughed at him and dismissed him, and he was promptly relegated to the undercard because of his age. Turns out his brother was a boxer, and there started to be a rumor that the brother was even on the Olympic team for boxing. Turns out Yoel's a pretty tough guy. Makes his way to world championships, makes his way to Bellator MMA, covers the spread at 185, at 205. Turns out he's not scared of much. Can we agree on that? Do you guys know why he's not here today? Oh, I hope you guys don't know. Do you know why Yoel is not with us today? Turns out he's scared of heights. He wasn't scared of Nemkov. He wasn't scared of the Russian mysterious champion of the world who he's going to be locked in a cage with. But he was scared to come to the press conference when he found out what floor it's on. And quite frankly, I really don't blame him, guys. We are up here pretty high, aren't we? All right. Enough of that. Let me get some housekeeping out of the way. Welcome, everybody. Showtime is going to be the host. Saturday is the evening, 9 o'clock Eastern, as usual. And if I could just start with a question from our leader, Scott Coker. Scott, every time, and I believe it was November of last year, this is off the top of my head, but every time we come to Chicago, there seems to be something special. The last time that I personally was here, the main event was the great Fedor Emelianenko, and he took on Frank Mir. And that's just Chicago, and it just feels like you put your best foot forward when you come here. What is it about the Windy City, Scott?
I tell you, we've had some amazing fights here in Chicago. The very first fight I think I've ever was involved with was when Fedor fought Brett Rogers back in, I want to say, in Strikeforce in 2009. And then we had Douglas Lima fight MVP here, that amazing KO. Michael Chandler fought Patricio here, and Patricio knocked out Chandler in that fight. And I think Nemkov became crowned here as the World Grand Prix champion. So we've had a lot of great fights here. We're looking forward to putting on another great show on Friday, and it's going to be an amazing fight card.
Guys, I couldn't help but notice this. The boss answered that question. He slipped the word in there, Friday, and I think he said that because I said the wrong. I know when the fight is. I've got tickets to the fight, all right? Things get ahead of me because I'm up here above the clouds. Now, of course, that is Friday. Of course, that is showtime, and of course, that is 9 o'clock Eastern. Scott, I want to ask you something. There's so many times through your career where you have seen who comes on the market, who's available, and you've signed some great talent, and you've come over and used them in very meaningful roles. But where Bellator sits today, a lot of this is homegrown. A lot of your biggest stars, a lot of your biggest name, a lot of your champions got their chops, got their experience, and built their way up here in Bellator. Was there something you can tell us about that plan or strategy and how we got with such great talent today?
You know, I'll tell you, this is really the best roster we've ever had. And if you look at the fights we've put on for the last year and a half, it's just been, killer fights after killer fights. And not just one, but has 2, 3, 4 main events deep. They've just been amazing. And, when I came into this company years ago, Patricio was here, Patricky was here. There was a good talent roster, a few really exceptional fighters like these guys. But we had a lot of work to do. And so we set out a plan. The plan was, look, we're going to buy some free agents from the top down. And I've said this over and over, and then we're going to start building from the ground up. And that's really how you build a fight company, is that you got to build from the ground up. And so we invested in different athletes. And, I think of Usman Nurmagomedov. I think of A.J. McKee. I think of Johnny Evelyn. I think of Aaron Pico. People that we said, okay, these are going to be the talent for the next years moving forward in this company, and I think that it's proven that we know how to do it. I think we're the best star builders and the best MMA fighter builders in the planet, as far as no other league can do it like we can do it, and we've done it in Strikeforce. We've done it here. It's a simple formula, and it's proven to be effective here in Bellator.
Scott, I've been asked by many people on a personal level, what's different about Bellator MMA? What is different about that brand? What sets them apart? That answer changes every now and then. It's never quite been as beautiful or sophisticated as some might expect. But one thing that I have noticed, and Patricio Pitbull's competition this Friday, I think, really speaks to that, which is Bellator is still a place you can go if you have dreams. It's still a place where that little kid inside of you, boy or girl, that wanted to be a fighter, but they wanted to win belts, they wanted to win championships, they wanted to work their way up, they wanted to compete with other people. It wasn't just about fame, it wasn't just about money, there was still about that intrinsic value of competition, and it's one thing that really does set Bellator apart. And as I look at Pitbull, who was that little boy at one point that had a dream, and he is getting ready to make history. I have never heard of anybody doing this, but I've never heard of anybody being put in a position for an opportunity to do this. And Scott, I'm getting a little long-winded, but this is a very special thing that Pitbull has in front of him. And where do you believe a victory, becoming champ for Pitbull, where do you believe that would put him in the legacy of the greatest of all time?
I mean, you can't deny it. I mean, listen, to me, he's already cemented his legacy in MMA, and everybody knows it. If you're a trainer or you're a manager or you're a fighter at the highest level, you know how amazing this fighter is. And but to win 3 and to be a Triple Crown winner, I think this will be the first time ever in the history of mixed martial arts that a fighter at this level has gone from 3 different weight classes and done it well and has won the world championship. So this will be a monumental task ahead of him with Pettis. But we think that if it can be done, it will be one of the greatest achievements in mixed martial arts.
Guys, if I could get us in a time machine and I could take us back only about a year and a half, but there's a guy named Daniel James, and you just wouldn't know who he was. You just wouldn't even know that this guy exists. If I could take you back about a year and a half, but now he's become a staple, and now Daniel James, you appear to be on the cusp, not only a main card, not only a feature fighter up here with champions, you appear to be on the cusp of a world title fight. What a difference a day makes, and can you just speak to the whirlwind that is your career?
I just stay patient, stay humble, and take things for what it is, and man, just stay training hard and stay focused on the path. You know what I'm saying? Never gave up, and just put something in front of me that's bigger than everything, and that's why I'm here today. So
that's beautiful, and that's very accurate. Gokhan, I would love to hear from you. You're a knockout artist, but you're taking on a guy with real heavy hands. How does this fight play out?
I'm very happy that I can fight in this card. Okay, te van a llamar eso. It's on Zoom? Oh, yeah. My bad. I prepared for this fight in Vegas. He's a heavy hitter, but I train all my life in the Netherlands, and everybody hits there hard, and I'm ready for this.
Excellent. Excellent. And I believe you, by the way. You look confident when you say that. I believe everything you're saying. Guys, I want to move over to Phil Davis, insert myself, but I think I was there the first day Phil ever did MMA. He actually came out to Portland. It was very early in his career, but I think it might have even been his very first day. So to say that I have followed Phil from the beginning would be very accurate. Phil, you're getting ready to take on Corey Anderson. Corey might be the most disrespected and underappreciated light heavyweight I've ever seen, aside from yourself. You have been looked over and you have been glossed over a time or two. This is the right fight. This has to happen. I'm surprised it's taken so long, but here we are.
Absolutely. Corey's someone who I've been a huge fan of for a long time, and I've been waiting to fight him probably since he really got on the scene in a big way.
You knew, right? You knew your guys' paths were going to cross.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, he's just one of those fighters. When you see somebody who's just explosive and dynamic and they put on great performances, as a fighter, I'm like, I got to fight that guy. Don't get me wrong. There's plenty of people that are like, I got to steer clear of that guy. And I don't blame them, but that's just me personally. I always want to test my skills against somebody who's scary, against somebody who puts on those great performances, against the best.
Guys, there's levels to this game. Who's heard that phrase? Who's copied that phrase? Who's written that phrase down? Do you know who coined it? It was coined 3 years ago at a press conference at Madison Square Garden. I happened to be there. And it was coined by Corey Anderson, who was a 2.5-to-1 underdog to what he felt was a fighter that lacked the experience. And Corey said, there's levels to this. Corey then stopped that man quickly, grabbed the microphone. He said it again. He said, there's levels to this. And Corey, when you talk about levels, where is Phil Davis sit?
Phil's up there at the top, you know. We've been in the game. He's been in the game longer than me. He's at the top where he understands. He had the experience. He know what I mean when I said there's levels to this. That guy had just gotten to the UFC, had a couple knockouts, and they're trying to push him up to a higher level than what he was. I had to humble him down, bring him down a couple notches, you know. And Phil's been in the game for a while. He's up there. He's at the top. He's fought the best of the best just like I have. And now it's just time to go out there and show I'm just at another level than him.
That's excellent, guys. I really want to talk to Nemkov. I'm going to speak slowly. Had some conversations with him and still working on English. But I would guess, for our champion Nemkov, I would guess there was never a time in his life where he put his head on a pillow at night and thought he was going to be standing across from Yoel Romero. He probably appreciated Yoel. He probably watched Yoel a lot, but their paths just simply weren't going to cross because of the eras, because of the age gap. That's my guess. But now, all he can think about when he closes his eyes at night is Yoel Romero. And Nemkov, I would just like to know, is there a confidence in the experiences that Yoel has had that you've been able to study? Or is there a fear, is there a pressure because expectations are on you?
Con la experiencia que tú tienes entrando en una pelea así, o si hay un miedo, si hay una presión.
Но у меня нету никакой боязни и полной уверенности, что я выиграю этот бой. Но я не жду, что этот бой будет легким.
I'm not really worried about this fight. I'm definitely not scared. I know it's not going to be an easy fight, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to win.
И я на этот бой настраиваюсь так же, как и на предыдущих соперников, и готов к серьезному бою. Так что с моей стороны недооценки никакой нет.
I definitely not underestimate him. I was preparing for this fight as I was preparing for any other fight before, and I'm 100% ready.
Yoel, I'm going to give a shot at this. I'm hoping that you can hear us over there, but I followed your career. I remember when you won the World Championship. I remember when you were second in the Olympics. I watched you fight for interim championships and undisputed championships, but this will be your first world title fight at 205 pounds. Many people have said the way to beat Yoel is to get him into the later rounds. I don't know that that's a fair critique, but it is out there, and this will be scheduled for 5 rounds. Is that an issue?
Hello, can you hear us?
Hello?
Chell, you there?
Yes, we are here. We are here, but we believe this is a performance. I believe you did hear me. I believe you didn't like the question.
Yeah, I can hear you.
No,
All right.
Translating.
You got cut off for a second.
Yoel, here is the question. This fight is scheduled for 5 rounds, and there is a little bit of a belief that the older fighter struggles against a younger fighter when they get to the later parts of the match. Do the rounds 4 and 5 concern you?
Que esta es una pelea de 5 rounds, que la mayoría de la gente dice que los peleadores viejos, después del tercer round, se van desgastando. ¿Qué piensas de eso y si te preocupa?
My brother, I want to say hello, everyone. Absolutely no, it's not my
Worried.
It's not my worry. It's not. I'm not worried about this. I have a good shape. I have a good preparation.
Yeah, he's not worried about it. He's in great, phenomenal shape. Even though he people say that at the old age that you'll fade off in the later rounds, he's not worried about that. He's confident in his team and his preparation.
All right, well, let him know we certainly don't tease him for the height thing. We understand that, but please tell him that we do miss him. And he's welcome to stick around and listen to the press conference.
Que sí, que que te extrañan y que no estés allá. Que no te moleste por las alturas.
Le pido disculpas a todos, pero es una pelea que sé que no voy a ganar.
Yeah. So he apologized to everybody, but he says getting inside that building is a fight that he knows he's not going to win.
No puedo hacerlo ni tan siquiera por mis hijos.
Everybody's got a kryptonite. Now we know what Yoel's is. Thank you, guys.
He said he wouldn't even go over there if his kids were up.
Ni con mis hijos he podido montarme en un aparato en las ferias.
Not even with his kids would he be able to go up on a Ferris wheel.
I understand. We understand. We miss him. All right, guys. Hey, I want to shift the attention a little here. Sergio Pettis has been out with an injury. Sergio Pettis is back. Sergio Pettis is possibly in the hardest fight that I can recall for him. Not to mention, when that gets done, I'm sure he's got some business with Patricio Mix. Jealousy is a real thing. Can we admit to that? I mean, $1 million will piss some other guys off. So, Sergio, you're back. How you feeling?
Pissed off. I missed out on that $1 million, man. Now I'm excited to be back, man. I've been out for a long time, 18 months, and coming back and getting thrown into the deep end against Patricio is an opportunity that I'm ready to take advantage of. This is what I'm here for, to fight some of the best in the world. Patricio is one of the best in the world, and I believe I'm in my prime, man. It's my time to go out there and show the world what I'm capable of doing.
Patricio, I've got notes here in front of me from the great Danny Brenner, the communications team over here at Bellator, and you were scheduled a couple minutes ago. I saved you. I saved you to the end. I'm having a hard time looking at you today, Patricio. I see you differently now. I didn't know that about myself. I guess I'm shallow. I see you differently now. Close to 135 pounds with an opportunity that no other fighter has had, not to mention a very realistic opportunity of pulling this off. How important is this to you to make history on Friday night?
I entered to this fight to make history forever. That's it.
And Patricio, the weight cut, I mean, I can tell just by looking at you that you were lean. You've changed your physiology. I can tell there was a real discipline there. How close are you to the 135-pound limit?
Now I am 143 pounds. So that time I believe was the easiest cut weight ever because I'm on diet since October. So I fought Kleber Koik in Japan and keep on the diet. That was my secret.
And right now, did I hear you say you weigh 143 pounds? I'm just curious. 143?
143.
143. Yes. All right. So a little discomfort, huh? A little discomfort over the night. Get a little thirsty?
Nope. I'm feeling fresh. I'm feeling great. Ready to go.
Awesome. Guys, I want to turn it over to you. Thank you all for coming, by the way. Thank you for listening to this. I know we had an adjustment here with Yoel, but I think that was worth it. Who has the first question?
Right over here, Chael.
Please.
My first question is for Scott Coker. Booking a super fight, I know we see champions oftentimes try to negotiate for this and ask for it, but when Patricio came to you and asked to drop the bantamweight and challenge for a third division title, I mean, was this just a no-brainer considering all that he's accomplished for you already?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's something that the timing of it all worked out, with the fight happening in Hawaii with Mix, with that knockout of I would say the $1 million knockout that he had with Stotts. The timing worked out where there's going to be a little gap for him, and we could fit this fight in, and the winner could go fight the winner. Will be Mixed now in the fall. So we thought it would be a great time. And honestly, when somebody of the stature comes and says, "Hey, I really want to do this. This is important to me." Think about what he's saying. He doesn't have to move down. He didn't have to cut weight. He didn't have to suffer. He's already accomplished everything he needs to accomplish in this sport. And it's just a testament to who he is as far as a warrior, as far as a martial artist, as far as somebody that's looking for the next goal and conquering the next goal and challenging himself. And that's what I really admire about Patricio, is that he's always been that guy that wanted to challenge himself. So, I wish them both good luck. I'm looking forward to a great fight, and it's gonna be fireworks on Friday.
For Sergio, obviously Chael said this a minute ago, like this might be the toughest test of your career. And coming off that injury, I mean, you just said you're in the prime. So how did you manage, despite all you've been through, to kind of get to that state? And are you concerned at all about ring rust, just having not fought for some time?
I don't believe in ring rust. I think the only time I think about it is when you guys ask me these questions about ring rust. So honestly, I'm excited to go out there, man. This is a big opportunity for me. Patricio being one of the best, that's what I'm trying to take, one of the titles of being the best. And he's getting greedy, man. He's already got 2 belts, man. He's trying to come for that third one. So it's like, I got to come out here and put on for my town, Midwest MMA. That's where we're at, baby. Chicago, Midwest. And yeah, it's going to be a good fucking fight.
Does that bother you at all that there's all this talk already about, you know, what if he achieves history? What if he gets the third belt? But, like, he's got to get through you still. It's
all what ifs, you know? What ifs. But we'll see Friday what happens. What if I win? You know what I'm saying? It's like I could ask that question as well. But we're going to find out this Friday who the better man is. That's all I'm worried about.
For Patricio, what does a 135-pound version of you look like in the cage compared to what we've seen at featherweight or lightweight? Is there anything you feel like you're going to bring to this division that maybe this division hasn't seen?
I'm faster than ever. That's the difference.
And one for Daniel James. How excited are you, man, to be back here fighting in front of a hometown crowd? That people here love you. It must be a pretty good feeling to know that when you walk out on Friday that the whole arena is going to be behind you.
I'm excited to be back home. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I love fighting in Chicago. I'm glad to be back. Killing it right now on a major winning streak, man, and I continue to keep this going. It's just good to do it in my hometown. I'm ready to turn up Friday night. I'm hungry. It's, you know what I'm saying? I don't take emotional dumps. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready. I'm getting the chills up here already, so I'm hungry. So
I know you're not nervous for the fight. Any nerves about throwing out the first pitch tonight at Wrigley?
Yeah, that's kind of cool, though. I just hope I won't throw it in the dirt.
Thanks.
My first question's for Vadim. I'm just curious how you feel about Yoel laying in bed and not being here and not facing it off with you today.
Да, я к этому отношусь нормально, ничего страшного. Если боится высоты, то что поделать?
I feel good. So if he's afraid of heights, what are you gonna do?
For Patricio, I'm just curious. Sergio just said that you're greedy for wanting a fourth belt. I'm wondering if you could respond to that.
You know, when I am gonna face someone, I don't think about the belt. I think about my opponent. And it always will be like that. I'm gonna face him and I am gonna win this fight. That's it. I don't care about belts. Now my focus is in him.
And Scott, when you hear that talk of a fourth belt even before a third one is acquired, what does that kind of put in your brain? Is that excitement? Are you worried? What's the thoughts?
I mean, let's just, take one fight at a time, and we'll see what happens on Friday night. We'll reshuffle the deck and move forward from there.
Question for Sergio. Reports came out earlier this week that your former coach was seen training with Patricio. Is that something that's concerning of you, or is it just more of like mind games?
No, I'm not concerned. I'm still cool with Daniel. What's up, Daniel? I see you over there. No worries, man. It is what it is. His business. He's creating some opportunities for himself, making money for him and his family. I get it. No hard feelings.
This question is for Scott Coker. You've obviously been very complimentary of Bellator coming back to Chicago whenever it can. Is this going to continue to be a yearly tradition where you guys come to Chicago once or twice a year?
That's our plan. I mean, we have had some great fights here over the last, let's say decade. So once a year at least, maybe twice a year, we'll see, but for sure once a year.
And I guess a follow-up question to that would be, you obviously have two massive title fights this weekend. Are you looking forward to both of them? And for someone who has never seen either of these four champions up on the stage before, what should they expect on Friday?
I mean, honestly, one of the things I'm really proud of is that, if you look at all the trainers, all the managers, all the fighters, people that spar with these guys, people know how good these guys are. And, at the 205-pound weight class, I think he's the best fighter in the world until somebody knocks him off. I think that you're looking at a group of fighters here that could fight anybody in any league, anytime. And if you look at our divisions of 205, 185, 170, I'm talking about Johnny Eblin, Amosov, Pitbull. I think that whoever goes through that gauntlet in that lightweight tournament that we're having right now, could you argue he's the best lightweight in the world? I think you could argue that after the winner of that tournament. So, listen, we have as good or better fighters than let's say other leagues, including the UFC. And I think that everybody knows that now, because talk to the Dan Lamberts of the world, talk to the guys that are training Patricio Pitbulls, or talk to the fighters that are sparring these guys. I'm telling you right now, these guys are really, really good, and to me, they're in the top of the game. And so I think that's what you'll see. You're going to see top-level talent, competing against each other, and it's going to be exciting.
Thank you.
And this question's for Phil. How did the discipline of being a 4-time All-American and a D1 national champion in wrestling translate to your success in MMA?
So in order to be a 4-time All-American or a national champion, it starts with knowing how to push yourself every single day and having that discipline of practice, but also seeking out what you can be doing outside of practice, and just making that your lifestyle, in addition to every single organized team practice. I have my own practice, and just continue to keep pushing yourself alongside of everyone else is pushing you, just finding more ways to get ahead.
And one quick one for Daniel. 5 wins, 5 stoppages in your last 5 fights. What's something you've added to this camp to keep innovating and improving?
Stop letting guys come out and building up their confidence. Start stepping on the gas a lot earlier, getting it over with a lot faster, and just eliminate the little small things. Went back to the lab, worked back on the defense, polished up on our jiu-jitsu, polished up on our ground and pound. We just went to and did the same thing. We just elevated and just kept training and just pushed a little bit harder, man. Every camp is always something different. It's always harder and harder and harder and harder. You know what I'm saying? So, we prepare like hammer strength, man. We ready. So we not worried about anything. We did what we had to do. Friday night, we'll see what's going to happen, and we ready to turn up for our city and do what we have to do.
This question is for Scott. Scott, how impressed have you been with what Daniel's been able to show in his last 5 fights, and specifically coming back from Europe and seeing the improvements that he's made?
Yeah, it's impressive. I mean, one thing is, when I think about Daniel is that if he hits you, it's going to be over, and that's something that's special. You got that one punch knockout ability, so you're always going to be in the game, whether you're losing or it's tied or it's, however the fight's going. If he punches you, it's going to be over. So I think that when you have that ability, it's a very special ability, and he's always going to be in the fight. As far as I'm concerned.
And Daniel, the other question is, I talked to you a little bit before. You talked about how you wanted to inspire other fighters, those here in Chicago. So what does Friday mean for you to do that, to put on a good showing that those here in the city can see you at your best, and perhaps another victory?
Chicago is all basketball and football, baseball, whatever it is. Chicago wasn't really watching MMA or following MMA like that. The UFC came a few times, Bellator. I remember my first Bellator fight I watched in Hammond, Indiana, and I was sitting with a friend of mine that took me, and I told her, I say, I'm going to fight for that company. And she was like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah. And I fought for Bellator the next year when I turned pro. And then, so ever since then, I just been trying to just put Chicago on the map with MMA, because a lot of guys go pro here, but they move. So I do everything in-house. I don't care who you train with. I train around the world. I trained at the top teams, America top teams. I trained with the Dos Santos, the Rothwells, the biggest guys. I did that. But I've been these places, but I had to come home because I want to build my own top team. You know what I'm saying? MTC is my top team. And when I'm here, I don't have to sit up here and go and name drop on who I train with. At the end of the day, I hit harder than those guys, I train harder than those guys, and I work harder than those guys. Talent is overrated, like I said. 90% of people that's talented are lazy. But we'll see Friday who works harder and who hits harder, and the last man standing. But, it's no ill will towards my opponent. I'm excited to fight this guy. It's a tough opponent. I'm just excited for Friday. And I know what I'm working for, and I will be champion.
My question's for Corey. Going up against another fighter who has a similar background as you, wrestling in college, picking up experience in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. What is that challenge going up against someone that has a similar combat experience toward like yours?
Go out there and show I'm the better one. I'm better at all of it. I said it before. I'm just an all-around good and great and better mixed martial artist, and I always got a 205. I can just put it together so well. And when you go against somebody with the same accolades, and he's got the 4-time All-American, 2-time national champ. I was NCAA runner-up and 2-time All-American. So I got to go out there just like I did when I fought Pat Cummins, and everybody said, oh, he was this. He's going to kill Corey. Well, I said the takedown record in the UFC against him. I proved the point. I don't care what you did in the past. We worried about the now.
Scott over here. Just a couple more from me. Was it difficult at all to figure out which of these title fights, headlines and co-headlines? I noticed the banner behind you has them both kind of on the same thing, but was that a challenge at all to have two big fights and have to pick between one of them?
You know, I tell you, this is definitely a co-main event. This is definitely equal billing as far as I'm concerned because, you know, just the level of experience and how long Patricio has been here. And the fight with Pettis is such a big fight. And Nemkov, you know, traditionally when the weights are a little bit heavier, they get the bigger billing. So we had a big debate inside, not just our company, but Showtime Television, everybody. And we just said, look, you know, we'll do it like we did it. But, you know, to me, it's a co-headliner.
And this is Bellator 297. You're inching closer and closer to Bellator 300. Do you expect that are you guys going to go all out for that one? Should we expect some big things?
Yeah, I mean, it's he's saying, how about Brazil? Listen, we're working on something. I just can't tell you about it right now, but it's going to be spectacular.
Great, thanks.
Just a quick one for Sergio. Last couple months, you've been preparing for one of the biggest fights of your life on one of the biggest fight cards of the year. What's been keeping you motivated?
Man, missing out on $1 million. That's what's keeping me motivated. It's been a long time out. You know, this is what I do on the daily. I train every day, live in the gym. So to get that taken away from me, it has a chip on my shoulder, man. I got an interim champ to look over now. I got Patricio coming down here trying to take my belt. So I'm motivated daily, man. These guys been making me wake up early, having nightmares. I'm nervous. I'm all that. But I'm ready to go out there this Friday and put all those nerves to use.
All right, guys. Hey, that was awesome. I feel like we've all bonded here. We went through something together, right? We all achieved something that scared Yoel. So we've done something together. All right, guys. Friday, Showtime, 9 o'clock Eastern. Right now, we're going to bring everybody down. And Yoel, if you could please stay where you are. We're even going to bring Nemkov over to the screen. They're laughing at me here, Yoel. But I'm not kidding. Please stay where you are. We're going to bring the fighters right down here, and we're going to square them off. So everybody, please stay where you are.
There's no steps, guys, so please watch your step.
¿Quieres parado?
No, aquí mismo vamos a parar con él aquí. Yo tengo que darle la cara de todas maneras mañana.
Never a dull moment. Never dull. No. I know, yeah, he is coming. He is coming. Yeah. All right, you definitely will. Okay, let's go.
La tecnología, ¿no?
Estamos hablando de eso ayer.
All right, Yoel.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to go face on.
Thank you, technology.
CJ, ready? Yeah. Hey, Tim. Hey, Dan, you could probably tell you how you get this. Yeah, Tim. Just shut the laptop on. Let's go.
Clase locura. Clase de locura. No, tenía que haber mirado para el otro lado, a ti, no para allá. Cuando miraba para allá, estaba mirando para otro.
Okay, that's good, guys.
Patricio y el otro.
Eso es bien profesional.
Phil Davis. Sí, ellos son tranquilos, igual que Corey.
Que ese es un nivel de...
Esa gente ahí no están en otro nivel, estamos tranquilos.
Ustedes saben que van a pelear.
Face the cameras, guys. Face the cameras. All right, guys. Good luck. Good luck. All right. Let's go. All right. Thank you, everybody. Yes, definitely. Yeah, oh, yes. I'll be here all week. Yeah, no, I haven't seen it since November.
Y David es tranquilo, ¿no?